All right, recording.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Pod Squad. Today we have Trevor Code, Leo, Aiden Stovall, James Blake, and your host always, Aiden Frisbee. Today we'll be having some guests later on in the show, and that is Boone Hurley and Nathan Hearn. Let's get to our first topic. Today our first topic is if you were on an island, what 3 items would you bring and why? Trevor, let you start it off.
Well, how big is this island? This island, how big is it?
Let me think here.
Big enough to live on.
We'll say it's about a size, well, 2 football fields side by side.
All right. See, I would bring. I wasn't expecting to be first, but I guess I would bring a genie in a bottle.
Has to be real.
Damn.
Has to be real, but nobody stated that.
I mean, it's kind of.
Go back. The rules were 3 things.
Yeah. The
Didn't
rules are
know
3
anything
about it
things.
having
Never
to
once was
be
it stated it has to be real.
It's got to be real. Main rule. It's got to be real. You can't ask for a lot.
Fine. A flare gun, a boat capable of hauling me and whatever supplies that I can find on the island, and then the third item, I don't know, like a stuffed animal so I don't get lonely, or stuffed animal, yeah.
Stuffed animal.
Or I have a Wally stuffed animal somewhere. I want him specifically.
So that your first one was a stuffed animal?
That was my third one. Did you hear the
I
rest of
didn't
it?
hear
Hey, you said 'em all.
because I cut out. My bad.
I said flare gun, a boat large enough to haul all the supplies that I find on the island, and a Wally plush.
A Wally play. The third one's a waste of items.
I don't care. It's a
No.
Wally plush.
All right, we'll just move down the line. Hold on a minute. A boat to haul all the stuff you find. Does it have fuel?
No,
Imagine
unless it's a
you
rowboat.
talking about a
Not a
kayak.
sailboat.
Yeah, and I was thinking sailboat.
I mean, it doesn't have to be motorized. People still use sailboats.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not windy.
Maybe it isn't, and I can't leave. I'll wait till the next day.
And it's still not windy, and you're just stranded
Then
there.
you
What
just keep
island?
waiting.
What island
Come
has
on.
no wind?
That's a good point.
What if just by chance your island is the one that doesn't have wind?
Well, then I guess I'll just have to paddle with my hands.
Nothing wrong with
But
that.
then
It'll take a
again,
long
Say
time.
you're paddling.
I'll make
and
a paddle.
Shark comes out of nowhere. I was gonna say, shark bites off your hand. What are you gonna do now?
Die. I'll die.
A plush toy. What are you gonna do with a plush toy?
Don't want to get lonely.
I mean, like, it's like the same idea
You
as
can talk
that.
to a coconut.
I think the movie was Castaway,
Talk
right?
to the
Whatever.
sand.
Where
Will
they had like
Swin.
where they had the coconut friend and.
No, I thought it was like the volleyball.
Oh yeah, it was a volleyball. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that same idea, except it's not a volleyball.
You can use it as a pillow.
I could use it as a pillow, except it's not that large.
Small pillow.
Well, technically, you didn't specify what size the Wally
I said
plush
my
was.
Wally plush. I don't know where he is.
So either you're saying he's really microscopic if you can't find it, or he's extremely huge, and
like-
the Earth is actually the size of a Wally plush.
It's like this big.
I have a Wally plush somewhere. I need to find that.
I actually want to find it though.
But we'll go to Kaleo. What are your 3 items?
Well, what's the island? Is it like abandoned? Was there like people on there before? Did they all die or something?
It's
an island.
just it's a normal island with just vegetation and stuff on it. No humans have really been on it.
Hmm.
So it's an undiscovered island.
So I would have to take like what, a
Good.
knife, like a metal cup, and maybe what, a tarp. Like I could
What would you do with the tart?
like if you can make strands or rope out of like vegetation, stringy vegetation,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can make rope and then suspend the tarp so you get something to cover your head.
Some shade.
Yes, some cover.
That's a
Can't
good.
find Wally, guys. I
That's
hope he's
actually pretty
okay.
good. A metal cup. A metal cup, yeah, because you can boil water.
Hmm.
It's a pretty good idea.
I found my Wally keychain though. He's dead little.
Let's bring that instead.
No, need big Wally.
Um, Aiden, what's your three things?
Um, I would probably bring a backpack and probably a knife also with me.
Backpack.
And then um, I'm not so sure about the third one. Maybe like a pot or something.
I feel like you can make a backpack out of leaves pretty well.
I mean, yeah, you could, but my backpack has over like 20 pockets.
It's a lot of pockets.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even expect them to have that much. What about you, Aiden?
I cut out again. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I said I'd probably bring my backpack,
Why
a
a back?
knife. Why a backpack? What do you mean, why a backpack? So whatever I find up in there, nice Wally
I found
plush.
Wally.
So with whatever I find, it's stuff in the backpack. Because you could make a little shelter and go. Because since the island is the size of two football fields next to each other, you can go from
That's
one
not
spot
that
all
big
the way
of
to the
an
other side.
island.
What?
That's not that big of an island.
It's
Yeah,
really
but
small, huh?
still,
But really,
still,
I don't feel like you need a backpack for that. I feel
I
like
would still bring a backpack.
I feel
You
like a
never, you never
backpack
know
is
what you could use
a
a
waste of
backpack
an
for.
item.
You'd be surprised.
If you really need to, you can take it apart and just like use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it
But
said
then again,
But then again, oh my God.
20
Hey,
pockets. I feel like you can make like an entire set of clothes out of that.
yeah, probably,
put
It
but
legs
takes
on with a
and probably a
backpack.
pot. I'd probably bring a pot also, because if I find something to eat, I'll cook it and
Um,
to boil some water.
so if we were just talking about like if we were messing around, if we were saying three things, see if we were messing around, I would say since it's like two football fields, say there's like a clearing, right? I would bring a small plane with a lots of fuel. Yeah, and then just some food.
Do you know
Bada
how to
bing,
fly
bada
a
boom.
plane?
Hey,
You see, he's gonna bring a pilot as well.
hey, yeah. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm off the island. I am safe. I got
You just
fuel.
learn on your own.
How mafia works.
Hey, bada bing. Hey, next thing you know, we need fuel. Guess what? We just land, fuel it back up, and we take back off.
Fuel it back up with what?
I just said
Fuel.
I said my second thing was fuel.
Oh, my.
Yeah, you said a
I said
lot of
plane. I
fuel.
said lots of fuel and a pilot.
Dude, that plane better have some like pontoons or something, so you just refill it when it lands on the water.
Yes,
Well, of course it's that. It's of course that plane.
seaplane.
Oh,
What other one can you take off in the width of a football field?
um,
A helicopter.
actually,
I mean, yeah, you got a seaplane. Take off in the water. You don't need the island.
yeah.
Boom, broken. But if I were to be actually serious, I would probably say, um, probably like a, probably like a metal pot or something. Or no, probably cup. Cup sounds good. Metal cup. Um, probably like a machete, and I think like a fire starter or something.
What if you just find some, you know, flint and rocks or flint and steel on the island?
But if there is, then
Like
you're
in
screwed.
Minecraft. Because if you mine enough gravel on the island, you'll find flint.
Exactly.
But then if you have a fire starter, you don't have to worry about searching for flint. Oh.
Yeah,
And
like my
that's
items.
the
It's less work. It's less work,
yeah, it
and
is less work,
you
but I mean, you
use
also
less.
could just use a stick,
You use less energy.
and it's
And
apparently considered useful survival skills to have.
well, if you have the a fire starter, you don't need that skill. We're
All
talking
right.
You
about
guys,
survival here.
have you guys ever played
So
the
am I.
game Raft?
No,
No.
I almost did.
See, the concept of it, right? It's a survival game where you're on a raft, right?
Uh, yeah.
And you can like add little bits to your raft, and there's like garbage floating out in the sea. And there's like wood planks. There's like plastic, and
Oh yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah. I've heard of it.
sometimes there's metal. It's a it's a really fun game. It's not very like accurate survival wise, but it's pretty good.
I don't think really any survival game's that accurate.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I don't
There's
remember what it
probably
was called, but there was a survival game where like you had to worry about like your cholesterol and like
What?
What?
like
They actually
it's
made a
not
survival
just
game where you have to
surviving, it's
worry
living.
about that?
What?
Like the game isn't just surviving, it's living.
Like you, wow. Huh, I
I
gotta play
mean,
that game.
there's probably people that dedicate their like when they make games, they're just dedicated to survival games.
If you actually realize most games are survival games, or can be classified as survival games.
I mean, technically a shooter game is survival
Yeah,
because you want to survive
because
as long as you can.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Current
you want to survive as
objective.
long. Even if you do respawn, like in most, shooter games, you still want to survive, as long as possible without dying. And then like the battle royale games they have, you want to survive, till you win.
Imagine you're playing a Halo game
Yes.
and your next objective is uh, lower cholesterol levels.
Get some get vitamin D, you've been in your suit for too long.
Because
Inject calcium directly into your forearms.
That's awesome.
Then out of nowhere you get diabetes and it's like make insulin.
but Trevor, if you had to choose like one to like not be serious, just kind of like joking around, what three items would you choose?
To not be serious, I would a genie and good persuasion skills so I can make him give me unlimited wishes. And the last one would still be the Wally plush. Because if I have a genie, I can have everything.
I mean,
That
but
is
you only
true,
get
and
three wishes.
if you can persuade
No,
him to give you as many
I
wishes
said the
as you
second
want.
one was like a good persuasion skill, so I can persuade him to give me more wishes.
But they actually can't do
Hey,
that.
How
Can't
do
you
you know
say
that?
I wish for more wishes?
Like, don't you ever realize that any movie or whatever that has a genie, they specifically say, and you cannot wish for more wishes, because you just
I will
can't.
persuade him.
No matter how
I will
persuasive
Well,
you
of
persuade
are.
course,
him.
okay. Well, of course they're gonna say that in a movie, because otherwise the movie would be kind of boring because they're just
Nope,
gonna keep.
no, probably wouldn't.
What?
You have a different like look on what an interesting movie would be.
Oh,
I mean, if they
think
just
about
had
it.
all the wishes, they'd be
Let's
like,
just they
oh,
wanted, they would
okay,
just
end the
wish
movie here.
everything they wanted. That would suck. Oh,
Hey, it's Boone.
so
Our guest has arrived.
we have our guest today, and we're gonna be asking him about the questions about the football season's gonna be, even though we got pushed back to January. But anyways, yeah. So, um, Boone, how do you think the team's gonna do this year?
Um, I think if everybody comes out and practices over or during this period of quarantine, or like just works out, uh, I think we could do pretty good if everybody just has this extra time to go to practice and work out. I think we'll do pretty good.
All right. What do you think are some like weaknesses this year versus last year?
I would probably say that some weaknesses could be that they have a little more time to work out, but they might not work out because all this quarantine stuff. So some people might not have the choice to work out, and yeah, that's what I think.
What do you think, as of seniors of last year that have left, do you think affect the team the most?
Like position wise, that people have left.
Yes, like position wise, that it affects the team the most, like hurts us.
Well, I could say that our line is not as big as they were last year, and a lot of our line this year, I would say, um, has some shoes to fill in positions, and they just need to learn the plays right, and then if they do all that and learn the plays, they could fill their shoes. So
Um, Along the lines of this upcoming year, what do you think we're actually going to be kind of better on, or kind of just be able to improve more?
I would say that doing the or doing the plays 100% right will help us a lot, and be able to beat those bigger teams if we can do our plays exactly as they are on paper.
All right, Trevor, you got questions?
Um, sorry. I think we should ask him the island question.
Well, I mean, in a minute. Do you have any more? Do you have questions about like?
Oh, is there anyone that you think um would do really, really well this year? Like just in general, just do really well this year as opposed to like last year.
I
Like,
can't I can't say anyone for certain, but I could probably say any running back position could do pretty well this year because we're big numbers and like running backs and what the depth is. So I think we could do pretty good in that position.
Do you think the offense has improved a little bit, or do you think do you think they still have some improving to do from kind of last year?
I would say that for this year, we need to improve because we lost some people last year, like quarterback. That's like the number one person that leads the offense. So we need to, or our new quarterback needs to just learn the plays and get all the like the footwork right, or so we need on offense. I think we need to step it up in like practice.
So I'm gonna kind of go in the same direction. How do you think the defense is going to do this year versus last year? And do you think they are improved, kind of, or still need to be improved?
Yeah, I would say the same thing for the defense. Losing people or losing people that played certain positions, like some of the D line. Uh, yeah, but as long as everybody works at their position, they could be just as or better than the defense last year.
Um, do you think we're gonna move back a little bit? So last year, do you think um, injuries really impacted your team to kind of help you get to say playoffs? Because I know you guys missed playoffs. Do you think injuries had an effect on you guys? Like, do you think if more guys, because I know there's a couple guys that were injured, do you think if those couple guys weren't injured and healthy, that you guys would have done better?
Yeah, I think we could have done better because just having more people, to like switch out positions, and then like for another person who might be like a little more tired. But then there was like a lot of times last year where, or when we could, because we didn't make it to playoffs, is because there was a couple of guys playing offense and defense because one of the guys were injured and couldn't come back on. So a lot of people had to play both sides of the ball. And
Yes, I think he cut out.
Yeah, I think he cut out. I don't know if that was just on my end.
Oh, I think he cut out.
Boone, you cut out.
Hello, are you there?
I can hear you.
Okay, I think you cut out for a second. But anyways, um, but do you just overall, um, do you think that the varsity will be affected if the JV doesn't have a team? Like, do you think there'll be JV that may end up kind of playing here and there on varsity if they don't end up having a team? And do you think they will kind of play a factor in varsity season?
I would say that not having a JV would, I wouldn't say it would help, but it would kind of help us by filling some positions and having like extra bodies on the field, So that, I think not having a JV would kind of help, and that uh yeah, I think it would help. Not having a JV team would help, but it would kind of suck for younger, like underclassmen, to not have a JV team.
Do you think any of them would play a factor if we didn't have a JV team in the varsity? Like,
Like
actually, like,
people coming up and playing.
yeah. Do you think any of them would have a factor in helping the varsity or not helping?
I wouldn't say like a significant factor, like we need that person, but maybe just having more in-depth people to switch positions, like in the middle of the game, and play that position for, like, if somebody got hurt, because we're pretty. I would say we're pretty low on like bodies, so we can't. So a lot of people are gonna have to play both sides of the ball, like no matter what. And yeah, the JV team would have that significance to switch to have more bodies. So
Um, do you think that because of all this Corona COVID-19 stuff, do you think that there are some players that aren't showing up, and that's why you guys don't have as many bodies?
I think that the people that can't come should come, and they would definitely help, and then have more bodies. So they would
Okay.
definitely help.
Yes, yes, it would. So I've heard that your guys' schedule is going to be one of the toughest schedules that the school has played. what are your thoughts on that, and how do you think those games will go?
Um, I would say that yeah, it probably is one of the toughest schedules, but as long as everybody, they learn their plays exactly and they just run them perfectly, they we can honestly probably
Beat some of the teams. Um, yeah, I think there's a good chance too.
classes that came down.
Say it again.
I would say that yeah, it is one of the tougher schedules because our skill level of like people like have just came like slowly down. So, but because of like our skill level, you know, it is going to be one of the tougher schedules.
Okay, I see it. Um, I don't have any more questions. Do you guys have any questions for him?
Um, if there is enough people to play JV, how do you think that they're gonna do? Like just based on who you've seen at the practices so far.
Um, the JV, from what I've seen, they have a couple like really good players that would really benefit them, like uh you know as in a few linemen and definitely a lot of backs. Like they have some good numbers in that. So and they're good. They're pretty good. So
Anybody else have any more questions for him?
Is there any specific team that you're looking forward to playing this year?
mm, not really. I mean, I just want to play.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Anybody else? Any questions before we send him on his way? No? All right. Well, thank you for coming on here and talking to us. We'll see you another time.
See you another time then.
Yeah, see you. All right. Well, we'll kind of touch on our last topic. And our last topic is what's going on right now with kind of COVID-19 in general. Um, and obviously, we just got done with that interview. We were talking about football, and obviously, right now we're not playing because of Corona. So our schedule did get pushed back to January. So that is it's kind of tough for some kids I know because they really want to play now, but you got to deal with what you have. So, what do you guys think about this whole thing going on right now?
I think it sucks. It's just not fun for anyone, and I feel like eventually when we do like fade the way back into school, the fading in process is gonna be it's gonna be like falling downstairs.
Falling downstairs
It's the best way I can describe it is like it's
in
falling.
slow motion.
Yeah, in slow motion, of course. So you can really
Always in
see all
slow
the
motion.
impacts.
Always in slow motion. Um, yeah, I definitely think it sucks, but I think at this point now that a lot of people are starting to not really, I wouldn't say care about it. I would say they're getting more upset by it, about stuff's happening. I think especially in certain places. But I think in other places it's starting to kind of go back. And I just hope everything starts to go back soon because I know that a lot of people are struggling with what's going on. It makes it real difficult for people. But yeah, any no one else has anything to include or
Yeah, I have things to include. Just nobody's gonna like what I have to say.
What is it?
hey,
So I'm just not gonna say
just
anything.
speak out, dude.
What is it?
No one's
No,
gonna crucify you over it. Just
no, I'm trust me.
hey,
You
We're
guys are
gonna
gonna have to like.
better
there's
if you
a
don't say
reason.
it.
There's a reason why it's called an opinion.
Yeah,
In this
but
place,
if you
in
think
this
about it
podcast
nowadays, people
and
can't have opinions anymore.
in this podcast, I can't speak. And in this podcast group, you have an opinion. We're not gonna kill you for having an opinion. There's a reason why it's called an opinion. Say it.
To be honest, I think this whole coronavirus thing is just like a little overkill. To be honest. I mean, yeah, for the most part, all it really does, the coronavirus is, yeah, it has flu-like symptoms and everything, right? But it also just enhances whatever like you already had. So you have cancer or whatever, just makes it worse.
Mhm.
So that is definitely a big problem, especially since it can kill, the littler, like the little kids, right? And the older people, like the elderly and everything, since their immune systems aren't that great. That's pretty bad. But like having to stay inside, how we have to stay inside, right? Pretty much,
Yeah.
that we're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Um, well, if you think about it, it's actually just diminishing our immune system because we have to stay inside. And since we're not outside as much as we're supposed to be, or as much as we used to be, right? Because if you remember correctly, kids were walking around town, we're always hanging out, in close proximity, right?
Yes.
Because of that, we were exposed to the elements, out there in the world, which so our immune system, evolved over the time period of us doing that to pretty much where we have, strong immune system where you can get over any cold or flu pretty quickly or just not even get it at all. But now that we're stuck inside, by the time we're actually allowed back out, allowed to actually be out and mix with people again, not 6 feet away, we're all just gonna like die because
I
some
wouldn't go
disease
that
is gonna
far.
come into
I wouldn't go
the
just die, but
community, and we're all just gonna get wrecked by it because our immune system won't be able to handle it.
I just think the common flu would just be worse because your immune system isn't as built up to it. I wouldn't go as far as you're just gonna die. I
A
think
lot more
that's
people would die.
You meant figuratively die for the most
Yes.
part, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I did. I
You're
don't mean
not
like
gonna
no,
you're not gonna die.
we're all gonna get the disease and instantly dead.
Oh,
No,
obviously.
that's not what I meant like that.
Just
Yeah.
But
drop dead
like
from a cold.
you guys know what I mean, right?
It drops dead in about 5 seconds.
No, like figuratively like that. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a chance you could die, but just figuratively.
Um.
But and then like the part where we have to wear a mask also, which is part of the coronavirus, because it helps keep in because when we breathe, we could exhale the disease or whatever, right? So it helps keep it in, right?
Hmm.
But um, there's people who are allergic to what the masks are made of, so they can't actually wear the masks without practically suffocating because they're allergic to it.
There's a lot of
And
different materials
there's
that can make masks,
Yeah.
though.
yeah,
There's a lot of different
there are
materials.
different materials, but pretty much they're all made of the same ones. To be honest, they're all pretty much made of the same materials.
Yeah, it's all cotton polyester.
Yeah,
Even the N95s.
yeah. And then
Are people
um,
allergic to cotton? Is that
people
possible?
can be,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, it
You'd be
couldn't be
surprised what people are
irritating.
allergic to.
But how
And
common is that?
I don't know.
I'm not
I
sure.
mean, I know someone who's allergic to lettuce.
No.
But I definitely think
And yeah,
with the everything in general, I think people are starting to get over it and be like, I'm done with it, and start gathering anyways because I think people are at this point they're kind of sick of it, especially with more and stuff being released with it and saying it's not as deadly as they're saying
yeah.
for like not people that are not older like
It's pretty much the only people who really need to stay, like indoors or at least away from people, to be honest, are the elderly, because our immune systems, because as we grow older, our immune system, starts to deteriorate, right? and the immune deficiencies. It's like people with who have had leukemia or anything like that, right?
Just any
And
disease,
yeah, just
any
like any
like
disease like that. Yeah, or like even people who have I think asthma would work too with that.
yeah, and like heart conditions
Yeah,
and
like just any underlying health condition, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then the little kids, like the little babies and stuff like that, because they won't be able
Just born.
to defend a virus with how young they are and how what's that one word, undeveloped their immune system is.
mhm.
Yeah. I think that they just need to start opening stuff. And I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, "Oh, why this and that?" But if you
Yeah.
look at some places that have opened, yes, it's going to be a spike when you reopen, of course, because everyone just starting to go back out. But
Mm-hmm.
if people stay doing normal stuff, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this. I'm pretty sure that that some places that have reopened and that have gone back to normal life. Yes, it did spike, but then I'm pretty sure it went back down. It went
Mm-hmm.
back down because
Yeah,
people.
I'm pretty sure too. Yeah, because I believe it wasn't
Yeah.
here. I don't think it was here in the United States,
No,
but
I
over.
thought there was some place in the United States, even not in the United States.
I mean,
There's
yeah,
places
but
that are
like in
doing good
general.
that are reopened.
Yeah, there are some cities or towns that have reopened. I mean, not as much as
I'm
they
pretty.
used to, but like
I'm
close to it, and they're all going around their normal life. Like
Italy,
it.
Italy, they got hit really hard by it.
Oh yeah.
Aren't they basically back to normal life now?
Um, I'm not sure.
I'm not
Might
sure on
be.
that.
I'm pretty sure I saw someone. I was talking to people and they said they're either pretty much back to normal life or they are. Like is either that they're close to being back or they are. It was one of the two, I think.
Yeah. I mean, no,
I'm
we're not gonna
looking for
quote
that.
you.
That's why I said
Yeah.
don't don't hold me to my word. I'm just
It's
going
a
into
theory. It's a
The
theory.
borders open on June 3rd.
What will?
The Italian borders opened on June 3rd.
Then yeah, they're probably back, or at least pretty close to what they used to be.
yeah,
Fa-
but just there's other places in general that are doing
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah. Like
Like
yeah, it spiked at first.
everywhere else seems to be starting to do better and do good.
Yeah.
But
Restaurants, bars, and shops were allowed to reopen
Mm-hmm.
since May 18th.
but it only seems like the United States is the only place that seems to still be doing bad for some reason.
I
Because there's a
mean,
lot of
we are
people
and we're
here.
not.
There's a lot of people here who just like, no, I'm not wearing a mask because I
Well, yeah,
don't wanna.
Well,
but
actually,
in Europe,
also,
they are packed in like sardines in certain places.
yeah. I mean, that makes sense like that. And plus, over there also they're wearing masks too. And some people actually aren't wearing masks either. They walk around with their mask like at their chin, and that's it.
It's one thing to say people aren't wearing masks, but you can't just say only in the United States people are going, I don't want to wear a mask. Because
Yeah,
It's not
it's all
only
over
the
the
United
place.
States, but there's a
people are
lot of it in the U.S.
people are doing that everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't
It'd be
just
kind of like criticizing our nation or our country for saying, "Oh, we don't want to wear masks," when everybody does it.
No, I
Every
know that
country.
everyone does it. I'm just saying that the U.S. seems to be doing it
You'd
worse.
actually be surprised. There's a lot of people. It's like half and
everywhere.
half that wear masks and that don't.
It's so rare now that I don't see people with a mask.
Yeah. I mean, I go outside without a mask until I get in a store or something, unless I actually have to wear it.
You see, I don't want to wear a mask
Yeah, I don't
when
either.
I go into places, but would I rather go into the place and get what I want
Hmm.
and
Or
then
get
real
kicked
quick
out.
take it off, or just not be able to go in at all? I'd rather just
Yeah.
put on a stupid mask, go in and get my stuff and get out.
The one problem though with this whole coronavirus thing is you have to wear a mask in restaurants unless you're eating. So while you're sitting there waiting for your food, you have to have your
No,
mask on. And then once you
no,
go to eat, you're allowed to take it off, unless they
no,
change that.
I don't think so.
You're gonna have to eat with a mask on.
I'm
Have
pretty
to eat
sure
with a
once you get
mask
into
on.
like a restaurant, you can take off your mask because you're in a place
No,
where you.
there was something that went by I think a few months ago or last month or so that had said you're not allowed to have your mask off unless you're eating, unless they
Okay,
changed that already.
let's be real here. What food restaurant owner is going to be like, okay, I'm going to enforce this to where they have to sit in my restaurant with a mask on until they
Uh,
get their food.
it's a good point, but no, I don't think
We're
anybody
being
is.
real here, unless they are
Actually,
unless they're one
actually,
of the people that are freaks of like panicking about it.
yeah, yeah. That's
Then
the
let them
thing.
do
There's
that.
there's
They
there's
can
got
do
to be
that.
somewhere where they enforced it.
Otherwise, people, the owner's not going to force them to wear a
Yeah,
mask
they're not gonna
inside
care.
the restaurant or outside because you can't be.
Yeah, you cut it out. You can't be outside.
I would like to interject right here, and
Yes.
I would like to point out that on CDC.gov, the COVID weekly death index
Mm-hmm.
under or is it comorbidities?
Under what?
Comorbidity, as in
Co-
like something you had when you died as well.
Yeah.
Under intentional, they have an entire section called intentional and unintentional injury, poisoning, and other adverse events.
Uh,
So that
Uh,
clearly means you were murdered, you got hurt and died, or you were poisoned, or something else horrible happened to you. They added those to the list of COVID deaths.
yeah.
There's 5,000 people that just died of something else and had COVID, and they just added those to the deaths.
Yes. Actually, something went around
This
to
is
where.
okay. This is where I
Yes.
have a problem with stuff. Trevor, I know you're probably not on our side because you've been real quiet since we started talking
No, no,
about.
I'm looking
He's been
like
researching.
yeah, I've
Okay,
been
but
looking at all this stuff.
but when the CDC released that only 6% of the deaths actually died strictly from COVID, that's when I think a lot of people started not really caring as much about it. I think.
Well, so
Roughly
the thing
only
is, though,
9,000 deaths.
I
they've
think.
had multiple, not riots, but what are they called? Like,
Protests.
yes, protests. There we go. Of
Yeah,
teachers and
the word-
students and adults or parents all saying that not to open schools or not open anything. Even after they release that,
Yeah.
there's still millions still doing that.
Speaking of that, damn it, where is it? There was a
Something.
news article where a kid went to school in protest of the lockdown, like when it was no school day or whatever. It was like kid arrested.
He's arrested?
Arrested for protesting?
Yeah, he went to school when it wasn't like when it was a stay-at-home day or whatever.
Yeah.
Let me find it.
While
Here it
you're
is.
talking. Oh, okay, never mind. Good.
WTOP News / education / 2020 / 09 / student dash arrested dash 4 dash whatever.
Just saying all the dashes. Just
Get
say
it, we get it.
I'm just gonna skip that.
Yeah, just get
Majestic
to
Beach,
it.
New York, AP. A high school senior was arrested Thursday after repeatedly showing up to the building in protest on days he had been scheduled for remote learning. Maverick Stowe, 17, was issued a 5-day suspension for appearing at High School on Long Island and returned the following 2 days. Newsday reported he believes students should be in school 5 days a week. So he was arrested for like going to school.
But I mean, wait. So he got suspended for.
Yes,
He didn't actually go on campus, right? He was just
Yeah,
standing there in front of the school, right?
No, I believe he went to the classrooms as well. I'm not entirely.
Oh, then yeah, I can
I
understand
need
being
to check
arrested or
that real
something.
quick.
But if he was standing there in front of the office, not actually in the school or in the building, but right there, then he should have been fine, even if it wasn't no school day.
No,
Like,
where's
Wasn't breaking any laws, just standing there like that.
Here it is, Fox News. Map.
Go, Trevor. I know you've been waiting.
I was looking at some of these graphs that are like by country, how many confirmed cases there were, and there's a couple of them that just like go to 0 and go back up immediately for some reason. I don't understand that.
Oh yeah, New Zealand had like 0 cases for a while, and then
Yeah,
they
then
had,
all of a sudden it had like a huge spike. Yeah.
they had like 3 cases, and then they straight up called in the military to enforce a quarantine. like they are trying to get a handle on this, but that's kind of an authoritarian measure. Like it's 3 cases, and they've been isolated for a while.
School senior from Long Island, New York, has been arrested after
Yes, play that. We shall listen to that.
showing up at school for the 3rd straight day.
Hold on.
He did it again this morning. The school had already suspended him for showing up for in-person learning on his remote learning day. Laura Ingalls live in Long Island, New York, with more on this. So, Laura, what exactly happened this morning?
Well, 17-year-old Maverick Stowe showed up at his high school today, as you mentioned, after being warned repeatedly not to. And he was told if he showed up today, he would be arrested for trespassing. And that is exactly what happened. Now, when I spoke with Maverick's mother this morning, she told me she supports her son 1,000%, saying that they knew this was going to happen. They were ready for it, but they do feel it's important for their son to make his point.
I hate to kind of cut you this off, but we have kind of reached our.
Yeah, I say we've reached our time limit.
We've reached our limit here.
Okay, I want to say something really quick, right?
All right.
Have any of you guys played the game Plague Inc?
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
So in
What
that
was it?
game, Plague Inc,
Oh, yeah.
the Greenland thing is accurate. In that game, you can never infect Greenland. It just doesn't happen. They have 14
Hold on.
cases.
I think
Well, yeah.
I think there are actually a few confirmed cases in Greenland.
I mean, they're like a whole
There's
island
14
off by
confirmed
themselves.
cases in Greenland.
So
Greenland COVID-19 deaths.
0.
Yeah, I thought 0, but they had 3 at one point.
yeah, but of course Greenland
So-
isn't affected.
Oh yeah, they have 14 cases and 14 recovered.
Anyways.
Exactly.
Of course it's
All
Greenland.
right, well, guys, we gotta wrap it up. We gotta wrap.
Anyways, this has been and this is kind of the end of the podcast. We'll see you guys next week.